Yep. So, okay. Typically, I would start my presentation with this, I would say, diagram. This will actually encompass all the modules that we actually have under recruitment. So you can see that we actually break it down into like the CRM piece. We have the key recruiting piece. We have the marketplace, and then the insights. So you can treat them as different components, or you could treat them as one whole recruitment platform. So just to give a very quick overview, the key things that we typically will sell to entry customers after we've understand their business requirements would be the recruit piece, which is the key part where you manage all your candidates' applications. All the processing throughout the recruitment can be done under recruit. And then we have this thing called source. This is for extended usage of, I would say, organizations that would like to do sourcing. So they like to probably reach out to access to LinkedIn recruiter licensing to actually, I would say, actively recruit people from that platform, and also to source internally from their own talent pool as well. This is an extended piece. Then, of course, when they start growing in usage, they probably want to also post it to different job boards via our distribute. So distribute allows you to post, I would say, job vacancies to JobStreet, the other more known, I would say, social media sites using Talent Link directly and pushing all this information to the job boards. So when the application process happens, the candidates are applying through JobStreet, but all the CVs will fall back into our Talent Link recruitment platform. Then we also have this portion, which is the marketplace. This is more of an API. So for instance, where we have both types of customers where they probably want to have a standalone recruitment system that works just pulling employee data from the HR core, whichever they're using, then they can explore that API to do that. Or it could be I would say, a collaboration with a background checking third-party vendor. Then we do have a listing of those kind of vendors as well that we work very closely with. So they can also find them in the marketplace. And then for even more advanced users, then they can actually explore on the analytics part. So that one will be more advanced analytics, which I think depending on the organization. Otherwise, I will probably walk you through the standard one later. Okay, so I'll move on to the next screen. So these are some of the customers. I would share this screen, this slide with you later, so you can actually have a look and feel free to reach out. So you can see we have different industry verticals. We play very well in the retail and luxury side. Also, we have the RPO, which is recruitment process outsourcing. So this is more for, I would say, agency or consulting firms like Conferry, where they provide recruiting process and manage all recruiting for certain companies or their customers or client side. Then they manage it within Talent Link, but offering a visibility to the customer. So now I'm diving into what you expect from the system. So this is actually 4 personas that we typically will see in a recruitment process. So you have the recruiters, the candidates, whether it's, I would say, internal candidates like your employees, or it could be external candidates that you're trying to attract to join your company. And then we have the executives, which is most likely the HR admins, the HR managers, or even the bosses that needs to look into the dashboards or see what is the time to hire and stuff. And then we have the hiring manager, which are more of, I would say, depending on the business. If you're talking about retail or even F&B, you might even include branch managers as a hiring manager as well. So it's really, we are flexible enough to actually accommodate the different roles. But a typical scenario in an organization, the hiring manager will likely be a line manager or a head of a business unit. Okay, so far is everything okay?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So now I'll focus back into what our recruitment process encompasses within Talent Link. So typically this is how the recruitment process will look like. But of course, we've broken it down into small chunks for you to easier for you to identify what are the process. So we start all the way from here, which is to actually put in the job requisitions, the approval process. We can manage that within TalentLink. So you already create those vacancies within TalentLink and then publish them to, let's say, your career sites, internal and external. And for more advanced users who like to also push it out to job boards, we also have that option. And then once you've published it, or even before you publish a job vacancy, you may want to also source internally to see if you have any talent pools or any specific talents that you can already reuse, whether is it within your organization or probably from other applicants that has applied for other jobs. And then when you post it to, let's say, your career site, you have applications coming in as applicants or candidates. So this is where you probably want them to give you those informations like the CVs, like their a short assessment as to whether they will be a right fit for the job. So those can be, I would say, configured within our system using our questionnaire engine. So that is kind of like a short snippet of what you need to put in terms of questions. You can actually set that up. I'll show you later. Then there is the screening and selection, which is typically all the candidates that applied. You want to know where they're coming from, and also to have a very clear comparison of whether they are the right fit or not. And then once this screening and selection is done, finished with the interviews and stuff, then you could go into hiring and pre-boarding. So why I mentioned pre-boarding is because with Saba Cloud, we typically would advise customers who are using both or looking into using TalentLink and Saba Cloud to have onboarding in Saba Cloud. This is because the onboarding feature would be tied very closely with an employee. So that would definitely sit better with the talent management side of the business. But for pre-boarding, we do have inquiries that comes in and say, oh, I just want to be able to manage, let's say, assignment of certain, let's say, a computer to a new employee even before the person starts, or I want to send this person for a specific identification process, health check and stuff like that. We can already manage that even before that person becomes an employee and being offered. So that can also be part of the pre-boarding if necessary. And then there's, of course, the analytics and the compliance part, which is more of the reporting. So we have a very large chunk of reports and dashboards that we can actually use as standard. And if more advanced is needed, then we'll have that insights where you can actually build your own dashboards. Okay, so this is roughly the entire recruitment process. I think many of y'all might be familiar with this, but I just wanted to cover again just to make sure that we're on the same page. Okay. Okay, so now I'll move on to showing you the demo of Saba TalentLink. So before I jump into that, I'd like to show you some, or give you some idea how it looks like from a customer perspective. Let me move it. So these are career sites. I actually have 3 samples here of career sites that we are building for our customers, or even our customers themselves build it. So if you see all these details here that you can read, job titles, the country, the functional area, the job ID, all these are actually coming from TalentLink. So they create those things in TalentLink, and these are all published into their career site. So what you're seeing for DHL, this is actually a standard template that we've branded in their colors and fit with whatever corporate branding they are looking at. So then we also have IHG. So IHG is a bit of a more special, I would say, special customer because they are expanding across Asia. So they want to have multiple brands within one career site. So then people don't need to search for different brands. So under the IHG brand, you probably have Holiday Inn, you probably have many other hotels in the chain, but if you need the candidates to apply it separately, then it will be a headache for the HR as well. So one of the key things that they've actually put in is also to search for jobs based on the current location. So I'm actually in Thailand today. So you'll see that they actually, based on my location, have recommended me the different hotel and the different jobs that is available in Thailand. And based on different description, you can see it's actually one career site, but multiple brands of hotel from 3 stars to 5 stars and the different types of jobs available. And I can filter further if I want to in terms of job areas, or I would like to only specifically work for a certain brand, I could search that as a candidate, or I want to search based on a keyword, I could do that as well. So assuming if I'm interested in, let's say, I'll look into a sales manager Japan based in Bangkok. So I will click on this. So this is how it looks like in terms of the job description. So you see that ISG actually has this video piece as well. So this is part of our video branding. It's a additional module that they like to probably share more about the business, or even some of our prospects or customers actually have the vision to have a kind of like a walkthrough of the working area of that specific job. Have, let's say, their hiring manager record a short snippet of a video to introduce that as well. So all this description and stuff all comes from TalentLink, which I'll show you later how it's being done. Of course, you could also share if you need to. We have that later. Let's say I can share it from here, or some of our, I'll say customers have it here at the side on the right where you can share. And if I'm interested, I can apply. So when I click on apply now, this is our quick apply page. So you can see, hold on, let me move this a bit. So in our quick apply page, you can see that we actually break it down into sections. You could also scroll down in sections if you want to. We have typical branding. This is actually a template that we share with our customers where they can reuse, which makes it much quicker in terms of implementation. But of course, if they want to grow later, that's something that they can also develop further. They could reuse a previous application if the candidate has applied previously before. They could import their own CVs because we have CV parsing. If it's in English, it's CV parsing. They will map the fields to the details that is available in the CV. We also have this apply with Zinc or apply with Seek or apply with LinkedIn available if the customer needs to. Then if, for instance, in apply with LinkedIn, if I'm registered or I'm logged into my LinkedIn account, I could just click on apply with LinkedIn, and they will just populate the information I have on LinkedIn and submit the application to this job. And of course, if this is too much to fill, sometimes we understand some customers have more information they'd like to have. And unfortunately, the candidate might not have the time to complete it now. I can actually save a draft. So this draft will be saved and emailed, the link will be emailed to the candidate so that they can continue later. So when they click on the link later on, it will come back to the same page and they can continue where they left off. So these details, as you can see, all are predefined or pre-configured. It's very easy to configure this, but I think I won't go deep into this later. We could look into it from the more drilled down demo arranged later on. But all these are just, I would say, with our forms and questionnaire builder, it's just more of a drag and drop and put in those information needed. So CV as well, you could also choose whether you want to have CV or cover letter. By default, we have that. But if you think the job doesn't need it, you can just disable it when you're creating the job description. Then typical CV details. And we actually have a data privacy statement. So this is quite important to a lot of our organizations. I think customers would ask as well, that you have some form of data privacy statement so that you'll be able to keep the CVs for the organization, okay? So then I would not want to click this because this is a live system. I'm afraid I will apply for a job in ISG, so I'm not going to do that. So I'll move on to another customer. So this is actually Hermes. So you can see it really looks different, right? From what you saw earlier. Imagine all this information you see is actually coming from TalentLink as well. So it's just that they have a very strong branding. They have a very strong web design team that actually built this in place. So it's very impressive. They actually have all the information put in TalentLink and then have this all published here. So it's actually the same. It's just that they have a better design of it, okay? So this is the front office side of things, the career side. So just now I mentioned, if I apply and submit my job, then all this information will be pulled into TalentLink. So now I move into the TalentLink system. So assuming I've logged in as a recruiter, so this is actually a recruiter dashboard. So this is typically what a recruiter will see. We also have a different persona, a different view for a manager, which only looks at the jobs that they are looking to hire, and they will just need to filter through the CVs of candidates. So we make it very easy for the hiring managers to do what they need to do, and we make it very easy for the recruiters to have reach to all the things that they need to see. So for instance, these dashboards are mainly the jobs that that involves this specific recruiter. General applications for jobs that are evergreen. So like for instance, receptionist, if you're always hiring, then you can keep it as a general application. Live postings are mainly post of the jobs that you put to, let's say, an external career site or maybe an internal career site, or even let's say if you extend out to posting to JobStreet, you can keep track from here as well. And then if there's something expiring, they will also notify on this dashboard. So this is Recruiting Central. I would call this kind of like the reminder page where all the tasks that is due or things that you need to do or look into will be published here. They will let you know when it's due or if it's going to be due. You can just click in and do what you need. Messages is here as well. So if there's any system message or if there's anything that your recruiters want to send a message, they could also publish here. These are the process of some of the applications that have already applied for your job. So this is from an application perspective. And then this, if you see, there's timesheets to approve and stuff like that. So this is more for contingency customers. So customers who hire a lot of contracts. So we also have this to manage contracts, contracting style of customers. And then we have a calendar here where if we schedule interviews and stuff, it will show here. And this is our standard news bar. So I'll quickly jump to what typically a recruiter will do. So in my demos, typically I will see who are the audience. So if let's say this is for a high level presentation to, for instance, a C-level person, or maybe just the CHRO, I will definitely dive straight into the reports because that is the key thing. So assuming that now I'm demoing to let's say a C-level person, the first question I would ask the person is, what kind of matrices do you look to measure your recruitments? Are you guys investing a lot on agency posting? Are you guys, for instance, doing a lot of postings to job boards and it's going to cost a lot of money? So we have very nice dashboards and analytics to actually give you that visibility to see if that channel is effective or not for the customer. So for instance, this is actually an analytics report. It's for recruiting channel effectiveness. So assuming this customer has a lot of places that they post to different job boards, they post to social media, they source as well internally with TalentLink. They also post to agencies and stuff. So with this dashboard itself, they are able to see what is the take-up like. So majority of their candidates or posting are actually to external sites. As you can see, you see they rank it in terms of the top 10 postings. They can also see in terms of geographical, if this is a global company, they can also see, like for instance, oh, this is a lot of postings from this region. And they can also drill down deeper if they need to. Unfortunately, this demo doesn't have Asia. They also can say, okay, I'm interested to see what job boards. So let's say I click on job boards and you can see the matrix moves and then the numbers, the details will be shown here. So you can see, wow, a lot of applicants come from Monster. So it looks like Monster is the one that they should invest more on, or let's say Indeed in this case. And any other channels or sources they can actually explore, they can actually already see here. And they make the right decisions from this itself because the whole entire recruitment process is managed in TalentLink. So this information will definitely be handy for, I would say, the C-level people to actually think whether the investment is worthwhile. And of course, from the recruiter perspective, this will not be a lot of things that they'll be interested in looking at. But if let's say we need to touch on recruiters, then typically I will show our applicants. So this will actually show all the applicants across the system. You can break it down into multiple, whether is it by year or months, then you can actually see where in terms of the applicants are coming from. So this is the graph of applicants that comes into the system. So you can also manage, if you can see here, there's organization level 1, 2, and 3. So like I mentioned earlier, similarly like ISG's case, ISG has multi-brand, right, under one umbrella. So we can actually drill down to that as well. So assuming that we're looking at different, let's say geographical location or stuff, then we can just pinpoint to see the reports based on those areas. So these are all filters that will change as we go along. Then we can say, okay, I'm only interested to see Austria, and then you can see these are the matrices that you can see. You can drill down to a certain month, let's say, and you can see all these, oh, it's only 20 applicants. And then you have like the employees and how many are employees that apply for jobs and how many are external candidates. So this will give the recruiters some projection as well as to what is needed. Okay. So everything's okay on the report side? So,
yes, I think it's okay.
Okay, so now I'll dive into being a recruiter. Okay, so typically a recruiter, my job is very much on creating jobs. I have probably about 8 minutes more, so I'll try to speed up a bit. So now we have this thing called a job wizard. So try to open that. Okay, so a job wizard, you can create jobs very quickly. So for instance, I am a hiring manager, so I will be the one hiring. If I create more jobs as I go along, they will actually auto-recommend me as well. But because I've not been playing with this demo site, so I don't really have those recommendations shown. But for instance, in terms of job title, I can actually create a new job if I type here, or I could actually reuse something from a previous job that was created and modify it. So for instance, in this case, I want to use this senior process engineer. That will make it quicker for me. And then because I'm one of the hiring managers and these are the different regions, or I would say different companies that I manage, I want to probably assign it to a certain organization. So in this case, maybe I'll just put in C Thailand, and then I can select quickly permanent. And then you see it will auto-complete by default the budgeted headcount because it knows that I'm a hiring manager that only manages budgeted headcount. But if this is not the case, I could change it as well. And then I'll continue. And you see that now it actually auto-completes the details based on the process engineer job that was submitted previously. So if you have a different job number, you could fill, you have a different due date you want to set for this vacancy, you could set as well. You can define job locations. You can put different functional areas. You could change or put in different things as well. For instance, working hours. Maybe this job has 6 working hours, 6 days per week. You could also put in specific attachments that you want to have on the career side. And also you could assign different team members. So it's very easy for you to add team members. You can add, for now, we don't really have a restriction how many, but depending on the organization, they can just key in. If they are already on single sign-on, even better, this will be in. Otherwise, if they are not, then it will tie up back into what Telelink has for the user management and operational teams, everything here. And you can see my job description was actually imported from the previous job. So if I want to enable HTML format, I could put this and then I could use HTML to actually modify it if I need to. Okay. Otherwise, I will just tick this as it is and then I will create. So I won't create now because I already have something created previously. So assuming now I've already created a job, I go into the dashboard, I click on my jobs, and then I see, oh, these are all the jobs that I'm working on. So these different jobs have different types of applicants. You can see in terms of how many new applicants have applied. Unfortunately, no one has applied yet. In progress, these are the people in progress, how many offered. In total, how many candidates had applied previously. How many are, I would say, positions are still open and how many had been filled. You could also change whatever you see here. if you need to, using here. So you can actually choose what is needed to display actually. Okay. So I will just click on to say Apex Sales Manager. So this job, as I've mentioned previously, all the information that we've put into the talent link can be published into the career site. And from this one dashboard view, you can see the name of the job, whether they have a specific job ID. And you can see the status is open, what are the steps. For now, this approval step is ready to submit. So we know where is it. We can see from a very quick view how many candidates are in progress. Altogether, there's 10. One has been closed, likely being rejected. I'll show you where you can see those information. Your contract details can be put here. All this information can be then pushed into the career site. And one thing I want to highlight is the process that we have. So all our processes in terms of recruiting, so you can see we have two different processes. So one is for internal, one is for external. So if the candidate is from internal, as in an employee, then yeah, they will have to go through this. So sometimes organizations will have a shorter approach in terms of the processes that can also be configured. Or external can be a bit longer, they have more assessments to go through, they can do that. Or even if you think that for organizations that prefer to skip a step, we also allow that. So for instance, if they go into CV HR review and they think, hey, they don't, this candidate is absolutely the one that I want to look for, I'll just have one interview and then I'll go into reference check and I'll go start the hiring process. That can also be done. Okay. So then all the job descriptions, like I mentioned earlier, are actually shown here. So these details are what is being published, okay? Then I will move on to posting. Posting is where we do publishing. I think, okay, I don't really have much time, but I'll just quickly show you some cool stuff. So what you see here are actually the posting to external sites. So it will actually show you where you've posted, when you posted, in terms of end date, and then whether what's the status that is expired. So I will quickly show you a posting for more advanced organizations who say, hey, I want to post beyond my external page, because if I want to post on external, I just click select external and it will just post there. So that's within the control of I would say your organization. But for instance, you may want to say, oh, I want to post to agencies, or I want to post to, let's say, a different place. So let's say I want to post to JobStreet. I'll just click select. And then I'll choose a date, let's say, and I save. So you see, it brings me to this job distribute site for my job. So I can choose what I say want to put in terms of place, because I define it as Malaysia earlier for this job. So you can see they actually ask you to fill certain things. So let me quickly just type something.
Yeah. Oh.
It's me, right?
Okay, then I'll click next.
Rồi sao mình cũng đâu. Rồi ấy mạng kết nối mạng cho anh ấy.
Okay, so this is where the listing of all the job boards that we can post to. Of course, for Vietnam, I know you guys have other more local job boards, but if there are inquiries from your organizations that have a specific job boards that they like to post to, do share with us. We could actually help you check to see if we support it. If not, we can explore and see how we can get that done. So typically we have a lot of different kind of job boards here. We also have social media. So you can see, I can click on, let's say 5 social medias, the different social medias, but let's say I just want to have Facebook and LinkedIn and say JobStreet, okay? So I've selected 3. I go to the next page. Okay, because I need to set up this, let's see if I can jump. Okay, so assuming I fill up all the information for the different job boards and social media, you can see I have 3 calendars here that represents, let's say, Facebook, JobStreet, LinkedIn, right? So you see there's different color greens here. So what does it say? It's actually a recommendation of when will be the best time to post so that you manage and utilize your credits with the job boards better. So this is a bit of a slight AI, I would say, to recommend the recruiters when will be the best time for their investment to be used. So you can see, oh, okay, maybe this dark green is the best date. So maybe I should start posting this job. So what it does is it actually remembers what you've been posting and then see what is the response based on those, and they can give you a variation on when would be better. And it's a combination with the job boards as well. Okay, so this is on the posting side. I won't post because it will take up credit as well. So I'll just close this. So that is roughly how we do the posting. So then, of course, once you posted, you have applicants coming in like just now from the career side. You will have the whole list of people who has applied. So these are all the people who has applied. You will be able to see where they come from, sourcing channels. So I also have source match, which is I source them and I match it to the job to identify, which I'll show you in a bit. Talent link is maybe those that I've imported or created them directly as a new candidate, which I can. And you can see in terms of rating, these are all actually the rating from, let's say, the hiring manager who has already reviewed this candidate's CV. So if I want to see, I can just click. This is which step that the person is now, and then I'm the hiring manager, I rated 4-star. And then this, you can see where is the recent step that this person is on. So these are the candidates that are stuck in CV HR review. So from here, you'll be able to have a very clear view of what is happening in this job and the details here. Okay. Then, of course, before you publish a job, you probably want to do source. So I'll just quickly do this. This is probably the last part I would like to show. So this is where we have matching of whatever job vacancy details that you have to, for instance, your internal talent pool, or extended to other, I would say, third-party job boards or social medias like LinkedIn. So assuming this is, because on this case might not be a good one, let me look for one that can match better. So let me show you the process engineer one. So in process engineer, because I've defined more requirements in my job vacancy, so the matching you can see later will show more, I would say, filters available. Okay, so you can see, not too sure if you can see, it's a bit dark here, but you can see there is like the job codes, the year of experience and stuff. These are actually tied to the requirements that we have previously set for this job in process engineer. So it kind of like maps it to here and then goes through the list of your talent pool and suggests you who are the candidates that might fit. So in terms of requirements, you see if as I roll over this, you'll see that, oh, this person meets the year of requirement, this person meets, let's say, the key skills that were identified, and there are still a number of skills that is not there. So I could actually filter deeper in terms of what kind of search I like to look for. So let's say country, I would like to look for Malaysia. Then it will streamline to those that are situated in Malaysia. That is in my talent pool, and then you can still see the match result. If you want to, you can actually select a couple and then compare the candidates side by side. So you can have all the information that the candidate has already submitted, and you can do side by side.
Vâng, chị nói đi.
Okay. So of course, this is for, I would say, talent pool that you have internally, or those that have already previously submitted their candidates. You can also extend it out to LinkedIn, which is probably the last part I'm going to show today. So LinkedIn, as long as you have I would say a license, recruiter license, or even a personal license. So in this case, I'm using a personal license. I could actually source for candidates from here as well that I think will map this requirement. So based on all these requirements, there's about 107 million that meets this details. So maybe I want to drill down specifically for more stuff, I can do it here. Or I can even drill down even more detail. Let's say it says English and Dutch, right? I've selected Dutch nice to have, I can select must have. And then you can see the number will reduce. So there is many matrices that they can do. Okay. Okay. So this is actually the sourcing part. You can actually put more filters here as well if you need to in the site here. So is there any questions for now?
I have a small question.
Okay.
Yes. So is it Talending integrate with Saba already?
We already have the, I would say the single sign-on part. We actually have a 3-phase approach to have that integrated in total, but that also depends on what your customer is looking for, because we do have customers that would still want to have the HR core, their existing HR core, which probably is their payroll system, to be the main core. So then it doesn't really need for us to actually integrate directly with Saba Cloud. It can actually be an integration to the HR core to just get the, for us to push the candidates over and for us to get one batch run of employees over, because that's all we need. We actually face outside more than others. And then the HR core will have to have the responsibility to pass those information back into Saba Cloud to do the training and the performance and the other pieces. So that really depends on what the customer is looking for. But so far, this seems to be the ideal setup that most of our customers are looking for.
Yeah. So how long is normally it will take for us to implement a project on this?
We actually are currently embarking on a tunneling project for K-Bank. K-Bank is 20,000 employees. We actually have committed for 10 weeks. And we are about to go live. So we actually phase our rollout based on what is their key concerns. So in K-Bank's perspective, because they are trying to sundown one of their existing recruitment systems and they want to move on to ours. So the key thing for them is to have the career site up and running and be able to attract the candidates while we sort out their other additional features that their existing system doesn't have. So we have extended beyond what they currently have. So the current system only were able to manage internal and external candidates from their career site. So we've expanded beyond that. We also support some of their manual job boards. We also support their posting to LinkedIn Recruiter as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think this is enough for today. So
too much for you already.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We can arrange for a deep dive session if you need to, because I can get my consultant to really go through the details for you, because I can say recruitment is quite a big piece. It's really a big piece. It can be very small, it can be very big as well, but it's really depending on the customer's needs. We typically will start telling them, okay, you tell me what's your key concern, we'll fit that and then start with that, and then we grow it within the organization.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey Lillian, is this available in Vietnamese?
For now, I have to check. I don't think we have that for the back office yet. I'll need to check if the front office has.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye.
Hi, Lillian.
Yep, bye-bye. Thanks, Howard.
Hey Lillian, will you be sending out the recording?
The recording is on Shuchi's side.
Okay, we'll get it on Suchi.
Oh no, it's on my side. Yeah, okay.